We're officially closing in on the end of 2019, and to round up the year, I thought I'd do a couple of lists to show my standpoint on my involvement in the world of amusement rides. Today, I'll be counting down my top 10 favorite theme parks as of the end of the 2019 season. Just to note, as of 2019, I have only ever visited 12 theme parks, 1 in Italy, 3 in Germany, and 8 in Denmark. The 2 that didn't make the list are Kronicle in Denmark, which is a small self-operated park that is very simply trash, though it does have a cool backyard coaster, and the other park is Bonbon-land, which is just lacking a lot of revisit value, and my only credit there is a wacky worm. Starting off my top 10 is bonbon-land in Holme-Olstrup, Denmark. This is one of the most nostalgic parks for me. I used to visit this park every year on my birthday as a kid, so it has a special place in my heart, and I therefore always enjoy visiting the place. That being said, I would still much rather visit the other parks in my top 10. Over the years, bonbon-land has gotten really rough in quality, and the same goes for quantity. It's a cool looking park, but it's not pretty, and in the past recent years it's only gone downhill with the appearance, and the only thing holding that up is the theming, which makes this park one of the weirdest in the world. The park also has only one coaster I actually like, which is the world's first Gerstlauer Eurofighter, Wildsvinet. In regards to other rides, there are only really 3 that I actually find myself rewriting at the park. The Rapids Ride Bæver Rafting, the Drop Tower Coopertårnet, and the Samperle Giant Discovery Svensvingarm. So in general, there's not a whole lot to come for in this park. I only see a few reasons to actually visit the park for the first time, the very few really good rides they have, and to experience the theming firsthand. At number 9 is Bakken, located in Klampenborg, Denmark. This is the world's oldest amusement park. The place opened all the way back in 1583, and today it still holds up. This park has a very big plus going for it: the atmosphere. Bakken has a very classic Danish atmosphere and feel, which results in the park having an overall comfortable and enjoyable feel. There are also a bunch of proper restaurants and pubs in the park to really give it that extra Danish feel. It's also a funny park in the sense that it's 100% free to enter. You only have to pay for the rides or buy a wristband, but entry is completely free of charge, which is great for photo enthusiasts. The park is also very small, and I mean really small, yet the park still manages to squeeze an entire 6 roller coasters in, including the classic Rutsjebanen, the great Mine Train Ulven, and the absolutely insane intimate spinning coaster Tornado, which can likely be called the most intense spinning coaster on the planet. Along with this, the park has a pretty decent collection of other rides for the entire family. They're still missing a major thing, which is a thrill coaster besides Tornado. They definitely need a coaster with inversions, but other than that, their little collection is not bad at all. Now, the park isn't on par with other bigger and better parks I've been to, and it also suffers from a big diagnosis of poor staff, but it definitely still deserves a good rap. And it's a perfect park to visit for an extremely classic atmosphere of a traveling fair mixed with a normal amusement park. Spot number 8 is given to Legoland Billund in the hometown of Lego, Billund in Denmark. This is very much a family park, just like you would expect from a Legoland park. It doesn't have focus on big and thrilling rides, and it's meant to be enjoyed by every member of the family. The best ride they have here, in my opinion, is Polar Explorer, which is a Sierra ESC with a drop track element. Besides that, they have a bunch of the Legoland classics such as a Mack Rides Wildemaus and the iconic Dragon Coaster, which happens to be a powered coaster in this park. The park also offers a good selection of other rides in the form of water rides, flat rides, and more, but there's no doubt that most rides are 100% family orientated. Like all Legoland parks, this one also has a bunch of Lego theming, and it's great. There is a bunch of excellent theming to really add to everything, and it's a huge part of why the park is as great as it is. Without it, the park would really just be okay, but with it, the park's straight up awesome. There's really not a whole lot to say about the park. It's a Legoland park. It has good family rides, it's well themed and very pretty, and it has a decent amount of unique rides compared to other Legoland parks, and it's also the first Legoland park ever. Moving on to number 7, we have Tivoli Gardens. This is my home park, and I visit this place pretty much every week, sometimes more than once a week. It's definitely Denmark's most famous amusement park. It is generally a huge tourist destination. There's basically never a moment where there isn't a few tourists taking pictures in front of the big main entrance. It makes a lot of sense too, considering this place is right in central Copenhagen, and the park is also known as the inspiration for Walt Disney, which is actually true to some extent. The park has a wonderful atmosphere and it's one of the most beautiful parks I've been to. It's also open many times throughout the year, in the summer, during Halloween, during Christmas, and doing a small winter part too. And the park's appearance and theming changes really well for each season. This is also a great place for rides. It has Europe's oldest roller coaster, Rutsjebane, which is both smooth and packs an amazing punch despite it being so old. It also has Denmark's only B&M. Some good thrilling flat rides, including the single most intense ride I have ridden, Vertigo, and there are 2 amazing dark rides. And there's both a Starflyer and a drop tower, both of which grant amazing views of Copenhagen. It's also one of the best parks for food I have been to. Generally, this place is a tourist paradise. It explores great perspectives of Danish culture while also having many great and really good looking rides. If you're ever in Copenhagen, do not miss out on this park. And even though I'm complimenting this place like crazy right now, it still doesn't go any higher due to it not being as exciting for me personally, because I have ruined it for myself by visiting so much. But I still absolutely love being here every time I am there. But if I had to choose between going here or any park in my top 6, the top 6 wins. Speaking of the top 6, number 6 is Fårup Sommerland in Blokhus, Denmark, one of Denmark's 2 great Jutlandic Summerlands. This park's entire theme is the forest, and so the entire park has a lot of forest-themed attractions. Meanwhile, the park itself is also quite pretty and really nice in general. The atmosphere itself in the park is really great, general and comfortable, and there are also a lot of great rides here. All from the airtime-filled SNS Woody Falcon, the intense family Vekoma or Cannon, and the world's first Gerslauer launch coaster Lynel. There are also the typical Rabbits Ride and Lokflume, as well as a lot of family rides, as Summerlands are always family parks. But this is a really nice family park that I remember having a lot of fun at. Summerlands also have water parks, and the one in Fårup is the best water park at any theme park I've been to. So in general, this park is family friendly, but does have its thrills. It's pretty, it's nice, it's friendly, and it's an overall great park that I very much recommend. However, the one Danish park I would call my favorite is Djurs Sommerland in Nimtofte, Denmark. This is the park in Denmark I would often describe as not being typical Danish. It's got big rides, including Denmark's tallest roller coaster and only non-Asian megalite, Piraten. They have Denmark's tallest family coaster, Dragekongen, and they have Denmark's longest and only dual launch coaster, Juvelen. And all of these 3 rides are also Denmark's fastest coasters. The park also has a huge intimate gyro swing, and the park will very likely add even more big rides in the future. The park's overall atmosphere and feel just does not feel very local to me. To me, it feels like a park I'd visit in a country like Germany. Its great standards, awesome theming, and overall scale does not fit in with previously mentioned parks, and I love it. It has that epic feel no other park in Denmark gives me. As I said, the park does have its fair share of really nice theming. It's not overwhelming, but it's just right in most cases. There are also your classic Rabbits Ride and 2 Lokflumes, as well as a really good water coaster. The staff here is also great. They're friendly, efficient, and really fun, and they're some of my favorite staff. I would say that if you come to Denmark, this is definitely one of the parks you should visit. Numero 4 is the closest international park to my home, Hansa Park in Zirksdorf, Germany. This is a small place with a really neat atmosphere and a lot of charm. There's a bunch of really awesome theming which has been boosted since my last visit in 2018, but it was also really good when I was there. The theming is the strong point of this park. It's well done, there's a bunch of it, and in some cases, it's extremely epic. A great example of this is the lift hill of Der Schwur des Kernan, which is also my favorite coaster. And speaking of Kernan, that's also a big plus in this park. It has some amazing rides. Kernan is currently the tallest and fastest coaster I have personally ridden, which are 2 records it does share with another coaster, but we won't talk about that. And it's not only the star attraction in the park, but one of Europe's greatest in general. Besides this hybrid Gerslauer, Hansa Park also has Flug von Novgorod with its insane 1.4 second launch, the classic Schwarzkopf Nessie, and a good variety of family-friendly roller coasters, and most of these coasters have great theming. The park also has a good variety of fun flat rides and water rides, including the world's tallest gyro drop tower Highlander, which I have yet to experience. The overall atmosphere in this park is just great and feels so nice and well done, and it's only complemented by the rides and how everything mixes well together. Just barely overtaking is Heide Park in Soltau, Germany. This park is a funny one. First off, the place is both beautiful and ugly. Some of the rides look kinda disgusting. while others simply look boring, and I'm primarily talking about colors here. However, their mighty appearance and skyline all destroy the negatives, and when you mix that with the gardening and the theming, which this park does have a decent amount of, this park is beautiful. I'll be honest that I don't remember the theming very well, as I did visit this place more than 4 years ago, which was also before I became an enthusiast. The biggest reason this park is so high is because of the coasters. When I visited, I only rode 7 coasters and the Rapids ride, and I absolutely loved Kake, Flucht der Dämonen, Big Loop, Boban, Desiree's, and of course the intimate prefab Colossus. Besides this, I honestly don't have a lot of things to say. The way I rank is by which park I want to revisit the most based on previous experience, and not based on when I last visited or how much I remember. And this park is in the top 3 because of its coasters. It was the first park I visited with this many thrill coasters, and it still has the record for most thrill coasters at a park of any park I've visited to this day. If you want a good little package of a great feeling park with 2 good B&Ms, 2 good Intamins, some good family coasters, and 1 fun Vekoma, then this is one of the parks to check out. And let's be honest, this is where Colossus is. The second best park I've been to was my favorite park until the summer of 2019. Gardaland in Castelnuovo del Garda in Italy is an amazing park in my book. I visited this park back in the summer of 2017 and I was amazed. The place is absolutely beautiful and has a ton of greenery as well as great interaction with the nature. This is greatly complemented by awesome theming. There is so much good theming at this park, all from epic space theming to Ice Age theming, making you go wow. It's both in the park and on the rides, and when it comes to the rides, there are actually a lot of similarities to Heidi Park. There's a B&M dive coaster, a B&M wing coaster, a Vekoma Mark 1200, and an SLC. That's why I like calling this Heidi's superior sister park, though the other rides feel very different. There's a great variety here. The 5 thrill coasters are all very different, and the same goes for the 4 family-friendly coasters. There's also the bonus of location. The park is right by the shore of Lake Garda in Italy, and for many of the rides, the view is amazing. This is why my favorite night ride is on Oblivion the Black Hole. There's also a fun layout to the park, which feels like it's on top of a bunch of hills and really makes the park feel compact. So in summary, this park has awesome rides, wonderful and beautiful atmosphere, good variety, and fully completed theming on a great level. But easily overtaking Gardaland by far is Europa Park in Rust, Germany at the #1 spot. This place is amazing. It's been voted the best theme park in the world for many years now, and I can absolutely see why. It's just so incredible and there's so much to talk about, so instead of trying to remember everything, I will just go over some of my favorite things about this place quickly. First off, this is by far the most beautiful park I've been to. It's indescribable how emotional I get from just looking at things in this park. Some of the places don't even feel like a park. They feel like actual locations from all around the world. It's insane. When you're in the French section, it feels like you're in France, and it's the same with so many of the other sections, most of which are themed to countries in Europe, if you didn't already know. I was there for 2 days and I really didn't want to leave. I just felt at home. This was my place to be, and I have never had a location outside of my home connect to my heart the way this place does. And I haven't even mentioned the rides yet, because they're almost just a bonus. Europa Park has a great variety of coasters. Most of them are family coasters, but there is such variety. So many different types of them. I enjoyed any one of them in their own way, and only one of the park's 13 actually disappointed me. Many people complain about the selection of coasters at this park, but I loved it. I don't care that there are so many family coasters because they're still amazing, and I had fun on almost every one of them. And then there's the theming on the rides, which is just, I have no words. I got so emotional from so many of the rides. I do have a review of every coaster here in case you want details on them, including their theming, but also layouts and stuff. But getting back to the park, this place has my favorite family coaster, a lot of my favorite emotional coaster experiences, my favorite water ride, my favorite pirate ship, my favorite food places, some of my favorite theming, and some of my favorite coasters. I can talk about this place for hours, but I won't. I cannot express my love for this place enough. Go here, spend several days here, soak everything in, and for God's sake, avoid Blue Fire single rider line. So, that's my top 10 of 2019. Next year, I will make an additional list for 2020, and I also expect to hit at least 2 new parks next year, and I currently think I will do at least 3. Make sure to stay tuned for 2 countdown videos of my roller coaster credits coming up, as well as more content on new parks I visit, my home park Tivoli Gardens, stuff on coasters, and a lot more. And of course, let me know your top 10, top 5, or whatever tops you prefer of the parks you have visited in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. It has been Northern Rides, and I hope you all keep on riding.